Alright guys, welcome to the first episode of the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Raid Shadow Legends. Great game. Been playing it for about 2 years now. Different things as we're going to collect our silver here on day number 1. Just going to talk about what it would be for a free-to-play series, as tomorrow we'll pick up the Savage set. This is a great way to pick up some free stuff if you're a free-to-play player through Amazon Prime. They got some silver chickens. I picked up Genbo on my main account as well. And then we're going to go in here and look at some of the news, get rid of some of these red dots. But I really like this game. I think it's a good game to play if you're free to play. We'll pick up the shields and the brews and stuff from the downloaded pack. It's a little bit difficult if you don't spend money. We'll grab this other stuff here. But I really think it's a great game if you know how to do it. And so I decided to make a guide going through, talking about different things. As we get that XP barrel, that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later on what you should do. You want to try to level up quickly here. But this game is a good game. I mean, as a free-to-play player, you're going to struggle. You're not going to compete with some of the big boys. Also, why I wanted to make this is because there's a guaranteed champion from Ronda out of 5 ancient shards, which we're not going to pull her right away. I want to save her for either a clan versus clan or a summon rush if there happens to be one this week. So we're going to save her until the end. I think it'll be a grete way to get some free points, and that's another thing we're going to talk about is just saving points as we pick up Junetone, the Viking guy. I used the download link to pick up Rector Draft and him, along with 100 gems and a couple of books and stuff. But like I was saying about Ronda and the shards, you really want to be saving your shards and saving your silver and saving your gems. Basically, as a free-to-play player, you're going to be doing a lot of saving. You're going to look for the 2x events, especially on the Ancients and the Voids. If you want to pull your shards at 6%, you can, but I think 12% is just a little bit better in my opinion. Even then, it's not really great. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to save for our 2x events, so I'm going to continue to make videos on it all the way up until I think we beat either Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare clan boss and we get through Doom Tower, because I think that's what a lot of people as new players really struggle with is the Demon Lord and also Doom Tower. So we're going to upgrade our boots here. You get your lifesteal set. Every day you log in for 6 days, you get a piece of an artifact, and then you also get the epic champion, which I don't know if we're going to use her. We may look at her, but we already have some pretty good epics as we got the free ones that we're going to pick up. We also picked up Deacon Armstrong from the promo code, which I'll talk about in a little bit when it comes to it. These are going to be voiceovers, so I'm going to do the pre-recording and then the pre-voiceovers. I work and I go to school, so I don't have time to kind of edit it and make it really clean and crisp, but I'll do my best to make sure that it's high quality. But I want to show the step-by-step progression. If you want these videos to be longer and you actually want me to show the runs, because later on I cut out most of the runs because nobody wants to sit and watch us run 12 free over and over and over and over and over again. But I think it'll be a really interesting series to actually get into depth, because a lot of people do free-to-play, but they kind of cut out stuff. So you'll see somebody go from a level 1 to a level 30 and they're like, what happened? If that's the kind of style you want to see, and it's the kind of style I was thinking of, the in-depth, the niches of the game, what to do, what not to do, who to level next, who not to level next. I think it's going to be a great series. And with the fact that we get Ronda basically from day 1 if we wanted to, because I could get 5 shards in a day. I'm not going to, because I want to save her, like I said, for the CVC. But the fact that you get to start out with a legendary champion on day 1, plus all the cool epics we get, I really think it'll make it an interesting series. I also think that it's a good way to show new players that this game is not just a cash grab. There's a lot of sponsors on Raid. It's a great game. There's a lot of people that play this game because they're sponsored to, and then they never pick it up, never play it again. I've been playing straight for 2 years. I have my main account, which is level 65, and I'm on Doom Tower hard and on Nightmare Clan Boss. I haven't reached Ultra yet, but as a free-to-play, and I've put money into other accounts as well. So it's kind of like a mixture of both. We'll still do some news. They have the new legendary champions coming out with Kale and Gaelic and Aethel, and Elhain is the fusion. We might go for her. I'm not sure yet. I've heard mixed reviews on her. We'll have to see what her multipliers do with that. I'm still concerned that she might be a little bit weak for a legendary. And of course, they're all voids, which means they're going to try to water down even more the void legendaries. So let me know if you're going to do that as well. If you're going to pull and save for Elhain as a fusion, because you're going to have your summon rush to get, I think, the 5 or 10 charms that you're going to need to get her. I'm in debate. I might wait until the next fusion to see what we get. The last couple of fusions was good. Pythion was really good. So I don't know if this one's going to be one of their weaker ones, since it is like a starter, and I don't like the way they did that anyway, considering how they should have just made it free. You know, you just pick one of the legendaries. I think you should start with the legendary. I think Plarium makes a big mistake by starting us with rares. I mean, it's cheaper, if you think about it, it's cheaper to level up Kayle, who you should always pick. If you don't know that, like, Kayle should be your starter, unless you really, like, know how to play this game, and you want to do Aethel for her triple hitter for Clan Boss. You can do, I think, War Master on her A1. But Kayle should always be your starter, no matter what. Poison, AoE attack, you know, with the speed boots and everything that you're going to get in your day one in your life set, you should be able to clear campaign at least up to Brutal in like 3 days. If you have the right starter champions and you get the link codes, and especially with Deacon Armstrong, who we'll talk about a little bit later, you should have no problem being able to hit Brutal in a couple of days. That means you're going to get your gems. That means you're going to be able to get more chickens, more silver. You're going to be able to farm faster, which is a big thing in this game, because you have to have... You start out at level 30. You go from level 30, you have to have three-star chickens. Then you'll start at level 40. You'll have to have 4-star chickens. Then you'll hit level 50, which is 5-star chickens. This is the most grindiest game in that aspect of chickens. The best collector game of champions I've ever played, but the most grindiest, because the fact is, to get one level 5 champion on Brutal 3, give or take, depending on how fast you run, could take at least a day and a half. So you're looking at least a minimum of 5 days for one 5-star. So to get a level 60 is going to take you a week. So you really want to make sure you're picking your level 60 champions the way you're supposed to be picking them. Like, don't make somebody a level 60 just because, you know, you hear something. Like, really look into it, because it can make or break your game. And I think that's what a lot of people get frustrated about. Like, they'll play for like 6 days, then they'll stop because they hit the wall, because they don't know that you have to level up your characters to level 60. In my mind right now, I know Kayle's going to be my first level 160. I think Deacon will be number 2, and I think Rhonda will be number 3. The reason I don't put Rhonda 2 is because I already have a hard hitter, and while it would be great to have that triple hitter on Rhonda for like Fire Knight, I really think that Deacon and his turn reduction can help out in that aspect anyway. I also think Deacon will be able to help us in Clan Boss more by able to like control the turn meter of the Clan Boss. So I think Kayle, Deacon Armstrong, Rhonda. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of them, Kayle or Rhonda, but Kayle just is easier to level up, and his books are easier to acquire. The missions here, and challenges are going to be your bread and butter throughout the whole aspect of the game. You want to get to Arbiter as fast as you can. It takes a long time to get there. I don't even have her on my main. Like I said, I'm like 65, and I don't even have her on my main because I don't grind missions like I should. But in this challenge, I'm going to. So missions and challenges are what's going to keep you prolonged in this game. It's going to show you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, where you should be. There's a lot of dungeon missions in there, and the dungeons are open for your first week of play for a week. If you can somehow manage to grind through all the dungeon missions as quick as you can, it's gonna save you a lot of time. The most challenging parts of the missions are the arena and the dungeons, and that's because the dungeons only opens up every couple of days. The next important thing is your arena. A lot of people sleep on arena. You have your Great Hall, which we haven't unlocked yet, but in the next video we should. Great Hall bonuses are really what separates good players from great players, and a lot of people sleep on their arena bonuses. The amount of things you get from that are just insane. Like, you could take a level 50 champion and make him like so-so with those Great Hall bonuses and really prop him up, especially with your accuracy, which you should immediately do is upgrade your accuracy on all your champions. Accuracy, speed, your crit rate and your crit damage are your 4 big ones, which when we go into our artifacts, we'll talk a little bit later on. I also think another thing that people get lost in this game is Tag Team Arena. It is very difficult, but you get gold bars that you can then trade in for champions later on, chickens and shards and things. And this is kind of like what we're talking about here is like the stats. So up there you see how you have Classic Arena in the Great Hall. So you could get anywhere between 15 to 20% on different things, depending on how high you have your your Great Hall maxed out too. And then the missions are also great because they give you a lot of stamina. When you'll see in the next video when we cut over to, and the next episode, I'll have a lot more energy than most people because I'm going to do the missions. I'm going to do the challenges. I'm going to go into the sewers. You will play in the sewers for the first 3 days of this game, probably 40% of your time. You're going to have to get the level 3, the 3-star boots, a 3-star helmet, the 3-star weapon. You're going to have to do all the 3-star items. You're going to have to get the ones that say you need attack percent, which is garbage. Plarium really needs to change that. Other content creators have said that. I'm on that bandwagon. Attack percent means nothing unless you're using bombs, which I don't know why you would unless you just want to have fun in this game. Bomb champions you don't really even have access to them until later parts of the game anyway, and by then you have such a stacked roster you don't need them. So they need to go in there and make it either crit rate or crit damage percentage, so people don't quite understand why their champions are bad when they put all attack percent on them. And like when you see somebody without speed boots on their champion, it's like you want to rip your hair out. As I've seen other people play this game, and like you go into their accounts and they have like HP percent boots, and they're like, "Isn't this so great? I've leveled this up to level 16," and they're like, "You've wasted 5 million silver on something that's like a basic rare champion can take down a legendary champion because their speed is 40% less because they've upgraded their HP percented boots." But I really think that's something they should change in the missions, and this is kind of where we are now in the sewers. Later on in the video, you'll see that we kind of change over to Kale. I just got this guy quickly. He was the basic free champion you get. And I will put the link to how to get these two champions, the Rector Draft and this Viking dude. If you want my honest opinion, the Viking guy will probably be a chicken, a 4-star chicken. He has HP burn, which is good for Spider, but I'm hoping to pull either Mordecai or a different HP burner before then in our next shard opening video, which is I hope soon. And I don't like him. He's slow, and just his mechanics are a little bit wonky, so he probably will be on the chopping block. Now, Rector Draft, pretty good champion early on, has a heal, something you desperately need in this game. Also, I think has a heal revival and a veil, which helps you out, to protect you against some of the tougher opponents you're going to face. Something that I think I'm also going to do, which I didn't really do when I was recording this video, is I'm going to do the referral to get Jamarsa and the shards and things. It's free to play, so as long as I consider free to play as long as you don't spend any of your own money. If you have something called Google Play Points, I'm not sure if a lot of people know what those are, but in Raid, if you go into your Google Play Points, they offer like silver and energy and 3-star chickens and brews. As long if you have, let's say you have like, I don't know, 10,000 points. Let's say you bought a bunch of other games or whatever. I don't consider that spending I don't have any, or I would, but I don't consider that you had to spend money, but you didn't spend money on this game. So if you have those, I would strongly advise you to use those to make the grind less grindy. The more energy you have, the more runs you can do, things like that. Brings me over to my next point that I wanted to talk about here. If you're on PC, which I am, which I'm going to do for a little bit of this series, like I recorded this first episode on my iPad, but the second and third and continuous on, I'm going to use something called BlueStacks. Great Android emulator. Used it for different games, and it's just great. It has a micro clicker, so basically an auto clicker, which will save your life. Okay, like I said, I work, I go to school. I do not have time to no life this game. With that micro clicker, you can no life this game without being like in front of it, which is great. So some tools that you'll need if you have access to them. A PC, BlueStacks, Plarium Play, RSL Helper, godsend. Just the best thing that's ever come out of Raid. I really do think so. Of course, Hell Hades' artifact checker. That will save you, because I don't know how many times, I don't know if any of you guys have ever noticed this, but like you will try to fight a boss, like clan boss or whatever, and you just get walloped or you get curated, and you go and use his artifact enhancer thing for the clan boss. Just the greatest thing. Like, those guys over there do great work for this game, and it's quite sad. Like, the saddest thing I think is that the fact that the content creators, this is kind of like why I like Raid in the community, it's the fact that people love this game more than the people that make it, to the fact that people have spent money and time on things that Plarium will never do. And I'm not crapping on Plarium. I just think that they should really look into buying some of these and like implementing them into the game, because a lot of people are mobile. I'm sure a lot of you play either on your iPhones or your iPads. I do sometimes. I play on my iPad, and the multi-battles are great. You get 30 a day. Okay, if you want to make a 5-star chicken, you're going to have to run at least 12-3. I would say to get a 50, at least 150 times, give or take on that number. But that's not enough. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit in front of my iPad for 5 hours and just refresh. So those are a couple of tools that you will need to look into if you really want to maximize your effort in this game. If you don't have it, then it's not a big deal, but it will help you out in the long run. That's how people can do like Fire Knight tournaments and Dragon and Spider tournaments and get all these points, is because they run it on the auto clicker. They use all their energy while they're sleeping. When they get up in the morning, they have like 2,000 points. At least that's what I do for my tournaments on my main. Another thing that you have to look at and understand is, as a free-to-play player, you're not going to compete with the whales. Like on my main, the little bit of money I spend, I can't even compete with the whales. Like, you have to have an understanding and a mindset that you're spending time for money. They're spending their money for their time. So like, sacred shards in this game are $30. And that gives you a chance, just one sacred shard is $30. If you pull through a 2 times rate, it's going to give you a 12% chance to pull a legendary. There are people in this game that have every legendary ever. Which, like, there's like accounts that I've seen that go for like $50,000, $100,000. Like, that's more than my house. So you have to have a reasonable expectation. You're not going to be the best at this game. There's people out there that will spend ungodly amounts of money to make sure that they're the best, and that's good for them. Because also why I wanted to start this channel up is because they have something coming out which really excites me, is real PvP, like real person versus player. And that really excites me because depending on what the rewards look like, I really think that's going to take this game to the next level. Because right now we do have the arena, which is just auto. You fill your 4, they fill their 4, you pick, because people are going to pick the easy ones. I do, everyone should, to get your arena tokens to upgrade your Great Hall. But the fact is that you can really now pick and choose the champions that matter. Number one, so champions immediately become more valuable now, the good ones anyway. Your Duchess, your Arbiter, your Krisk, the big boys of the legendaries. Those are going to matter more. But also the fact is that your Great Hall is going to be influenced, which means people can lose and people can gain, which I like. The second thing that they're going to add is hard dungeons. So right now you can go to dungeons 20, and that's it. And then they're going to make hard dungeons, which start at 25. So they're going to be very difficult. We're not going to be able to HP burn the spider anymore, which I think, I don't think spider's going to, out of all of them, I don't think spider's going to be the problem. I really think the ice golem's going to be the most difficult because he's already extremely difficult with his revive. That's why you take somebody like Crusader and, you hit him with his A2, I think, where it doesn't let him revive, and then you can just go in there and mollywop the ice golem. But I think Ice Golem will be the most difficult out of all the hard dungeons. But there's a lot of new content adding into this game. I think people get a misconcept of this game because they see sponsors playing it. There's nothing wrong with sponsors. I wish I was a sponsor, to be honest with you. So Raid, if you're listening, the content creator packs are really great. All the content creators in Raid are really cool. I think it's just a great community for people to play an RPG game on a mobile aspect that matters. There's a few out there. I've tried different mobile games, but I always come back to Raid. I've always played Raid because I like the nuance and the new of it. Like I've made probably 30 different new accounts just to reroll, just to see what you could get, because each type's going to be different. Like 3 weeks ago, I was making a new account during they had like this secret mercy system rule for ancient shards that nobody knew about. And it was great because on my second shard, pulled a legendary. I pulled an Ava, so she's like a speed lead, but like the odds of that happening, because you have 0.5% chance of pulling a legendary on your second charge, is like outstanding. And I wish Raid would do more of that. I think the thing that they do with like the 5 guaranteed. I think they should do for different champions, just be a random one. But I think that's something that they really need to look into, and I think that's to get more players. But to talk about more of the voiceover and stop rambling about different things, your clan here, what we're doing here is we're looking for a clan. So once we hit level 15, you can join a clan. What you're looking for, what I'm looking for here, is a high clan with high activity. Okay, you want somebody that can beat the clan boss, because if your clan can down the clan boss, you're able to get a double chest. That means 2 times the chances of void and sacred shards and ancient shards, which is great. Second thing you're looking for is the levels, because you can buy legendary champions out of your clan shop. You get clan gold, which once we kind of pick around here, I think I chose a level 10 or a level 8 with high power. So basically, this is, at one point, this was probably a really good clan, and then they just fell off because people didn't want to play anymore. They got bored. They maxed out their account, whatever. What I like to do in the beginning, before clan versus clan starts, so this is something you should really pay attention for, is get into a clan with high levels that you're able to get access to more things. Energy, 3-star chickens, those legendary champions. And if they're a high clan that have access to it, but nobody's playing, then that means you get the easier quest to get clan gold, which means you're gonna do very well. And that's the way I always start an account, is to find a clan that's high in level with low playthrough rate, like not very many actives, and then I picked, like I said, level 10. So in here we got all the way to level 8. Most people just pick the most random clan, and like level 2 is locked. But here we get silver. You get the Yukaro fragments, which he's an outstanding champion. He's normally locked, but if we can get a couple clans, we can pick up a couple fragments. If you pick up 5 fragments a day, you're done. You need 100 of them, so you'd be done in about a month. And these are the clan gold that you need to do certain things. My advice is immediately to go into Elite for the 350 gold and pick up the rare shields. The time the next video comes out, we will have the 350 gold, because you're going to farm right there. You're going to farm the campaign. You're going to get those 3 shields. So that's immediately a 350 gold. So that's, a fragment for your car if you want. That's energy. That's chickens. That's silver. That's, a lot of good stuff that you can pick up pretty easy. The next one will be an expert, and that's the attack up. When you go into arena, if you have an attack champion, just, win, obviously. Pick the easy matches. You'll get the opportunity to upgrade your attack, and it's an easy 200 gold. So right there, that's 550 gold. And I think they reset every couple of days. You get your weekly requests as well, so it'll reset every week. You can get, on average, 700 clan gold in a week. You figure that's, in a month, that's 2,800 clan gold. So that's a lot of energy. That's like 3,000 energy. 100, 200, 300k in silver if you want a lot of 5-star artifacts, which normally I go for, but I think in this episode as a free-to-play, we're going to go for the legendary Yukaro first, so we can have him come the end of the month, because I'm trying to plan out my roster ahead of time. So I'm hoping to get a Geomancer, which I have on my main. It's just one of the best epics you'll ever get in this game. Obviously Kale, Rhonda, if we can get Yukaro, and then we need a healer. We'll probably use Jamarsa a lot through in the series. I'm hoping that we can pull something. It just depends on our luck, and that's why we're going to pull during the 2 times event. And this is what I was talking about with the clans. A lot of these guys, and this is kind of the stigma of this game. This is why people have a lot of problems in free to play when we need to get clan versus clan. So after your first novice tournament, which is something we need to talk about as well, after the novice tournament, you'll have a clan versus clan usually. And in that, you want people that actually play this game, have a lot of power, spend a lot of money, and play the game, because you get artifacts, you get chickens, you get shards, you get clan gold. So once we get through these first couple of days, we want to switch our mindset, get out of this clan, and get into another one. This is what the novice tournament is, up there in the corner, which we'll talk about here in a second, to finish up the clan versus clan. As we type in superpowers, this is how we get our deacon. So if you enter this, if you're on iPad or iOS or PC or whatever, you'll get if you enter superpowers, you get your free Deacon Armstrong and some silver and bruise and a book, which is pretty good. Deacon Armstrong is basically a legendary and an epic skin. But get back to clan versus clan. You want to, like I said, pick the high clan levels, low activity, get all the stuff you can get out of it. And then like a day before clan versus clan, get into a high activity one, with really good, competitors and your clan mates, so you can win your clan matches. And once you get into a really good clan, you've already got the clan gold to start buying things and unlocking things. And then, as we talk about here, going over the skills, you have to have these things called books. You've seen the purple one. I don't know how many times I've seen people play this game in front of me where people use legendary books on rare champions, and it makes me want to cry. Like, okay, gold is for gold. Purple is for epic. Blue is for rare. Do not use a legendary. These are so hard to come by. You, as a free-to-play player, you get 3 legendary books once you beat Brutal. You get another one, I think, once you beat the challenges for Arena, once you get all the way up to gold. They do not give out free legendary books. It is going to be a struggle. It's going to be a grind. So please, take nothing away from this video. Do not use books except for the champion you're supposed to. And even legendaries. I'm not booking Rhonda. I'm not. She's not worth it. I'm not wasting my legendary books on Rhonda. Maybe you, Carl. Maybe. But the amount of wasteful resources that people play in this game as a free-to-play player is ridiculous. And here's some of the dungeons that we were talking about. You have your Fire Knight. You have your Dragon's Lair. You have your Sand Devil, which is oils to upgrade. You have your Iron Twins. You have the Minotaur. And another thing that people need to understand is there's different ways to spend your gems. You can spend 800 to unlock masteries. You can unlock the gem mine. You can unlock the sparring pit. You can buy shards. Out of all the opportunities that I see people waste, is usually the shards, and that's not the right thing to do. You can make an argument if it's a 2x event. If you get a legendary early, it could change your account depending on the champion. But also, you have to understand, with champions come more resources. To ascend one time for one legendary, it's 3 superior potions on each. You're not going to get that right away as a free-to-play. You're not going to get all the books to upgrade their skills. You'll be able to upgrade them to level 50, but you've wasted so many more resources plugging them in. You spent the gems to get them. And then, once you get them, you can't do anything with them until later on in the game. So that's why we're going to stick. I wanted to save shards. I want to show people that you can play this game with the basic resources. It's a lot easier because they give us a lot of free blue books. They give us a lot. It's easier to upgrade somebody like Kayle. And once we get him, Armiger and Crusader and hopefully Apothecary and War Maiden, which that'll be in the next episode, talking about the kind of champions we're going to start our account with, hopefully, if we get them. But I think people have a notion of this game, they have the best champions, the most highest gear. No. You eventually will. And a lot of people in the content world, show off this kind of stuff, but you're not, as a free-to-play player, starting out, you're not going to get there. So you want to save your resources. You want to pick the rares that you know that will do well in this game early on. Kayle, like I said, Apothecary, War Maiden. I actually crunched the other war that you get from beating the castle. The fact that we have Rector Draft, we're going to have Demarsha. We'll probably have another healer. I didn't need to worry about picking up, and she's good early on if you don't have all these epics, keep her, but because my account's already pretty much set, I needed to get Kayle to 40, so her and a farmable that we got from the campaign and immediately got scrunched. So the most important thing is to save your resources, level your champion, your starter champion. Do not get distracted in this game by leveling up 5 different, there are people's accounts I see that have 7 level 50s. Okay, 160 equals all level 7 of those. It depends on who they are, but you'll see somebody that has a War Maiden at 50, a Kayle at 50. They'll find a Gaelic from a blue Ancient Star, he's at 50. You have 2 epics at a 50, and it's you have to start picking and choosing. And people don't want to crunch their champions because they spend a lot of time upgrading them and ascending them and doing all this thing. So the main takeaways from this video are: upgrade your 1 starter champion to 60. You should have it done within a week. Save everything. Save your shards, save your gems, save your silver. Do not waste. And then timing. When hopefully this clan versus clan comes out, I'm hoping, when we pull that Rhonda, that's 30,000 clan points. So immediately we get 3 3-star chickens, a bunch of brews, a bunch of clan gold. We get more for what we're pulling. A lot of people like to pull things without understanding the concepts. You get more for less. And as a free-to-play player, more is important because we're not spending any money on packs. Even though they want us to. They will bombard us with more packs than we can dream of. We're not going to do it. So I wanted to come on here, talk about the different things, talk about a game that I really like, try to explain it in a way that people can understand it. If you want to see videos that are more quick, I can do that. Like we can go from 1 to 30, 30 to 35, come on. Because once we get to the mid game and the end game, there's not a lot to talk about. That's why I like early game, because there's a lot to talk about. There's different scenarios, there's different champions you can pull. As we brew up, Deacon to do the missions. But I feel like the early game raid has been abandoned on the slow part. Like people just zoom by it. So I want to make the videos, do the time to actually go through it, explain it, what not to do, what to do. If you have comments or feedback, let me know. If you want to see something, let me know. If you want us to try different champions, let us know. I played it for a long time, but I'm open to try different things. I really love this game. I think it's a great game. People just get a bad stigma of it because they listen to the wrong people, or they waste a lot. There's a lot of wasteful in the first week of raid, which is your most prime opportune time to make something in the account that first week. If you can set it up for the first week, you're good for the rest. You can start pulling. You can go into Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, pull the Sacred Shards, save those Sacred Shards, and you're pulling all kinds of champions. It can be done. But I appreciate you guys. I really wanted to make this channel, so I appreciate if you made it this far, if you're listening to me ramble for 32 minutes. If you want to leave a like and a subscribe, leave a comment. What do you like about the game? What do you not like about the game? Are you a free-to-play? Are you a whale? We're going to do other things as well. I want to do news and things like that. I really like this game. It's got me excited. And with all the new content dropping, I decided to come on, give my opinions, show how to play as a free-to-play player. There's a lot of guys, there's a lot of people, but I don't think they do a good enough job of slowing things down and explaining things to people. So I think that this is going to be a fun series. I really want people to comment, and I want people to give their feedback. I want to hear about your free-to-plays. What do you pull? Do you pull early? Do you pull late? Do you save? And I think it's going to be a really great series, guys. So until the next time, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you later.